1 minute until showtime.
And we're live and talking.
Jesus. Cheaps, no fry. Pepsi, no Coke.
So what kind of a show are you going to have?
Oh, we're gonna
what kind of a show are we going to have? Yeah.
We're going to have a great show.
I think we ought to introduce the sound effects box here. That
I got a new toy. Actually, I stole it from Shane. Okay, 10 seconds. 15.
13, 12, 11.
10.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Log Off Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Our show is captured and linked to YouTube. The programs are listed in the archives of both Blog Talk Radio and YouTube video. You can watch as well as listen. Links are to be found on Facebook. We refer to our musings as our efforts as musings with Steve and Teresa, and the show is archived as such. A phone-in number will be presented later in the program. Have paper and pen ready. I'm welcome your opinions during our discussion. I'm Steve, a co-host.
I'm Teresa, the other co-host.
We're here to entertain, enlighten, and inform about issues we think are important. We want people to think about how positive actions make positive people.
Today we return to Ancestor tales.
Some from not so long ago and some from history. We hope you enjoy our selections as much as we did making them. Anyone wanting to join our discussion can call us at 347-308-8409. You'll be next in line. Again, that's 347-308-8409. And before we start, Terry, I want to comment on that excellent blankie over my head here. That is absolutely stunning.
That's one of my favorites. I call it party balloons. And I like how the tritone jewel binding accents the colors inside the blankie. That it's not your old gray flannel blankie anymore. I make some exquisite blankies, and I just wanted to bring one to show you. This is one of my favorites. And I have a Facebook page too. Gigi does too. And a website.
Right on. Well, the trouble with life is that it's never fair. And perhaps that's a good thing for most people. They get what they deserved.
Oh, don't worry about avoiding temptations as you grow older. It will avoid you.
Terry has a sound box here she stole from her grandchild. And
you're going to hear it.
Yeah, you're going to hear it. Despite the cost of living, it's still popular.
Quite popular.
Experience teaches you to recognize a mistake when you've made it again.
And again.
Yeah.
And again.
That's most of what I learned in my life is don't do that again.
Yep.
Our story today, it starts with Aaron Tilden Clark, the 21st fight. Now, it's the closing weeks of the 19th century. Marquess of Queensberry rules for the sport of boxing is only 10 years old in the States and only 40-plus years in England. The purpose of the new rules was to persuade boxers that you must not fight to win. No holds barred is not the way. You must win by the rules. Now, the intent was to raise the bloody, bare-knuckle, anything-goes style of prize fighting to a more gentlemanly level of regulated sports and, of course, gambling. Racing, both man and horse, had regulations. They were respectable. Brawling was not. Respectable, that is. The changes were significant. From the unlimited number of rounds ending at a knockdown, the downed fighter had 30 seconds of rest and 8 seconds to return to scratch. That was what it lined up. The fight was over when one man couldn't come back to scratch. Now, the Marquess of Queensberry round would have a specified number of rounds, 3 minutes fighting and 1 minute rest period. There were things no longer allowed: wrestling, hugging or clinching, spike shoes or springs. That includes gouging and eye plucking and ear biting. Fighters would have new fair-sized boxing gloves of the best quality. The fair stand-up boxing match was in a 20-foot square ring with referee and judges. Now, no mention was made of size or weight of the fighters in the beginning. Young Aaron Clark was fighting all comers at 168 pounds. He fought Marquis of Queensberry's rules anywhere in the tri-state. Fights would be in cornfields or on a barge or on the river, empty warehouse, factory. He was undefeated coming into the 21st fight. I forgot to tell you, fighting was forbidden by law. It was illegal almost everywhere. Fighters in Portsmouth were outlaws beneath contempt. Aaron's father had lost the family and the farm, it said, to slow horses, fast women, and that old demon rum. No longer able to survive in the rural west side without a home, his mother brought her 3 children to Portsmouth. Aaron was 9, Maud 5, and Mabel 1. Aaron hustled around Boneyfiddle, running errands, selling newspapers, sweeping out the Market Street barber shop. Without a father, he learned to fight, and as he gained his size and strength, he learned to box. The barber and the barbershop patrons encouraged and arranged fights for the sporting people. Aaron did the fighting and the winning. 5 wins, 10 wins, 15 wins. Aaron was becoming famous. He fell for Lavinia Abigail Lawson, an orphan being raised by her grandmother Stevens. When he asked her to marry him, she flatly refused. "I will not marry a fighter." Aaron says, "Well, I can't quit while I'm winning, so wait till I lose and then we'll get married."
Okay.
Now, you can see where this is going. The barbershop and boxing crowd persuaded the local authorities to allow a prize fight. If not legal, then semi-legal. The sheriff said he would allow the fight as long as nobody objected. Tickets were sold out. The first real prize fight in Portsmouth. Now, the fight was scheduled to be held on the 3rd floor of a building on 2nd Street, about half a block east of Market Street. I think it was over where Cunningham Hardware used to be. The manager had found, or heard rumors, that the fight, the churchwomen were going to try to stop the fight, and he and Aaron decided to have a backup plan just in case. They opened the window by a cast iron drain pipe, and the manager tied a horse and buggy down in the alley below. Aaron's opponent was John Adams, 6'2", 208 pounds. He was mostly a bare-knuckle fighter, but willing to fight Marquis of Queensberry rules. Aaron, at 5'10" and 168 pounds, was giving away 40 pounds weight difference and almost 4 inches difference in reach. As the fight began, as John Adams himself told me, that little feller beat the bejesus out of me for 14 rounds and was still coming at me strong when they stopped the fight. I had to be helped out of the ring, but Aaron went over the ropes, out the window, down the drain pipe to the buggy, and was gone.
Gone. Fast little fella.
The church group had prevailed, and the sheriff raided the fight. John Adams was fined $50. The referee and judges awarded the $50 purse to John to get him out of jail. Aaron and his manager went to Cincinnati for a while. Now, Aaron couldn't say he won the fight. The referee gave the money to the other guy. And if he didn't win, then it's a loss. Aaron quit the ring. On September 16, 1900, he and Lavinia Abigail Lawson were married and went forward into the 20th century, making a bunch of little Clarks.
Us!
If you're old enough to know better, it's too late to do it. The aging process could be slowed down if it had to work its way through Congress.
Yeah, George Burns once said, as the approach of his 87th birthday, he said, people ask him what he'd most like to get or appreciate getting. He tells them a paternity suit.
The cardiologist diet says if it tastes good,
spit it out.
Yeah. Doctor to the patient says, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that you're not a hypochondriac. Okay.
You know you're getting old when you stop buying green bananas. All right. I got a story here about a lady that I think is pretty special. Uh-oh, he's got the button. Named Anna Komnena. She was a royal whiz kid who lived in the beautiful Byzantine city of Constantinople at the time of the First Crusades. She was a writer and wrote on psychosomatic diseases. She was a princess, and she got engaged at the tender age of 8 to the heir apparent. You'd think that was a good deal, right? But no. All of a sudden, she had a baby brother came along, which meant that she wasn't going to be the queen anymore. And then her husband-to-be died at the age of, leaving her to be a 9-year-old fiancé in mourning. Meanwhile, Anna's father, Emperor Alexis, who saw that his daughter was no slouch in the brains department, made sure she got a brilliant education. And in 1096, the First Crusade, which flooded Constantinople with thousands of armed troops, freelance fanatics, and unarmed pilgrims, brought the urgent need for expanded medical facilities. Tongue got twisted over my tooth, can't see what I'm saying. Anyway, she built this really big church that was also an orphanage. And in the process, she started writing about everything that she was seeing. And it turns out that the book she wrote, the Alexiad, is the only female eyewitness account that we have of the actual Crusades. And I'm going to look this book up. And her words make us realize that the Crusades weren't just a boy thing. That everybody, they thronged the highways with civilians outnumbering the grains of sands on the seashore, carrying palms in their hands and bearing crosses on their shoulders. There was women and children, too, who had left their countries, all streaming toward the Holy Land. She unblinkingly reported on everything from the tactical use of flamethrowers on her father's ships to the atrocities reportedly committed by the Crusaders, and I'm not going to tell you what those are. Despite her achievements, she never did become empress, and she tried every trick in the book after her father's death to get her hubby on the throne, but the brand new emperor didn't work out. Then she got busted for her would-be coup, and she went to the convent for the next 35 years, where she could write at her leisure. Anything she wanted.
Yeah. Well, midlife is when you go to the doctor and realize that you're now so old you have to pay someone to look at you naked. The good news about midlife is that the glass is still half full. Of course, the bad news is it won't be long before your teeth are floating in it.
That is not the end. There remains litigation over the estate.
Yeah. I'm getting them like my great-grandchildren, wearing diapers and using a walker. The very early environmentalist, Juliana Berners, understood the dangers of overfishing. She wrote you mustn't be too greedy and a bunch of other stuff. The author of the Bake of St. Albans, which included the first treatise ever published on fly fishing. Juliana was a prioress by trade, head of the Southwell Nunnery in St. Albans, England, and in the off-season it would be pretty quiet around the nunnery. Juliana, therefore, had a whole trout string of justifications for dropping a line in the water. It made you get up early, she said. It saves money. It promoted health. Fishing was soul food. She asserted you will avoid idleness, which is the principal cause of inciting to many other vices. It's right, as is right well known. The happy-lucky nature lover probably came from a titled family in Essex, extremely well educated. She wrote the treatise of fly fishing with an angle for those sections, including how to make your own hooks and lines, tying flies, and the kind of fish lore that humans have been exchanging since time immemorial. In summary today, we told the story of my grandfather Clark's last fight. We talked to people from history, women who changed the world of their day with lasting effects. We encourage you to charge the future and change the system. Make it fit your expectations and needs. So what if the next guy changes or uses your work differently? You made the effort. Now this program is archived at Blog Talk Radio, captured and archived for YouTube video, and linked to our Facebook. You can see us and hear us too. Comments are welcome. Our mission on this Blog Talk Radio presentation is to
stimulate your thinking, prod your mind into new channels,
pump up your interest in life,
rebuild your enthusiasm.
Whether you're pro or con, we insist that you join us as we investigate,
evaluate,
and participate. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. We want to thank you for listening to our podcast today. We will return with continuing viewpoints next Tuesday at March the 4th. We will discuss current problems. And I'm Steve.
I'm Teresa.
Thank you for listening.
Think positive.
Be positive.
Enjoy.
Goodbye.